Boy, you're fast, John. You got him standing quick.
I'll tell you when it's, yeah, I'll tell you when it's 6. It's like the opposition. Yeah.
Evidently, mayor's not.
Dear Mayor.
Not yet.
You're feeling a little awkward now, aren't you?
I'm just gonna let you do this to all these audience members. Looks like you're waiting for the fish to bite. It is.
Okay, there.
Okay, would you please stand and join in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First we have on the agenda, Reggie, was Tim gonna make it? Okay, we'll just leave him where he's at, and then if we have to, we can, there he is. He showed up, so we'll move him up. We'll move him up, okay. Can we do roll call, Rachel?
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember White. Present. Councilmember Dan Hahn. Let the record reflect that Councilmember Dan Hahn is not present. Council President Cox. Present. Councilmember Stubble.
Present.
Councilmember Josh Hahn. Let the record reflect that Councilmember Josh Hahn is not present. Mayor Richardson.
Here,
You have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
okay, we're gonna do a little juggling here, if you don't mind, go ahead.
So do we need to do a motion for approval first?
Oh, yeah.
Before we do amend,
No,
we can amend.
we need to amend before. we
Okay,
make it.
So, Mayor, I would like to move that not move, but make a couple of amendments to the agenda. One would be new business action item A, that we move A after number 2 of approval of the agenda to reflect so that WRTA is here to discuss a memorandum of understanding and that he would be available for questioning before he has to travel to Riverton for another council meeting. And then also new business action item G, that's the approved job description for existing part-time police department records clerk position, including adding resolution 1330, which is in front of all the council members. So that would be included in G. And those would be all the amendments I would have, Mayor.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Cox, second by Councilwoman Stubble. Any questions, concerns? Since there isn't, I'm gonna call for a question, Councilwoman Stubble.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on.
Mayor, you need to there needs to be a motion to approve the amended agenda now.
Okay, we need to make a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilman White. Any concerns or questions on that? Since there is none, call for the question, Councilman Larson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now we can move forward. We're moving A up to approval of Fremont County Association of Governments, FK Memorandum of Understanding. You guys had some questions or concerns? Nobody has sent any to me yet. So is there discussion before we make a motion to approve that? Councilman White?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a question. So does this need to be signed or agreed upon by all the entities in order for it to be passed as an MOU, or can one entity not pass it and it still be valid? Do you know if it's an all or none?
Can I call Tim up here to answer that question? He's wanting up here.
Thank you, members of the council. Yeah, I can answer that question. So currently the memorandum of understanding does specify that a majority can modify. Obviously, our goal is to make sure there's unanimous consent in this modified agreement, but however, it does specify the majority can modify the agreement.
Okay. And at this point, we're the last entity.
There's two. I think there are two.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. So there are two that have approved currently, two looking to approve today, and then the remaining three will have similar conversations throughout the rest of the month.
Okay. Thank you for that. So part of my question, Mayor, is I would prefer to see different allocations from the county. And so I'm unclear as to if making those suggestions is going to move the needle at all.
Right. And right now,
Yes, we
we're
don't.
at the point that, yeah, I don't know whether it would or not. Like I said, we can move to approve it as is. Yeah, I thought everybody would send me some discussion items and got none, so I thought we were all right, so. But like I said, if we approve this tonight and we see some final adjustments, can that be made before election time or after election time? Or can it at all? Go ahead.
Well, Mayor, I don't know if we could make final adjustments, but I don't know that we'd want to. I think that we provide continuing uncertainty and confusion if we
Right.
readdress this either before or right after. I think this is our moment.
Yep.
Mayor,
So,
I'd
moment- go
I'd
ahead.
move to approve this.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second?
Got a motion by Council Marson, second by Councilman Cox to approve the agenda, the memorandum of understanding as presented. I'll call for the question. Councilman Stubble?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a no.
Yes.
Yes. So motion carries, so thank you.
Drive safely.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to next item. And thank you, is communication from the floor. Just a reminder, please approach the microphones, state your full name and your address, so we can move forward quickly. So any comments from the floor?
Janelle Hahn, 573 North Fifth Street, Lander, Wyoming. I just wanted to make a comment since Dan is unavailable. He's in meetings all week in Casper and Josh has got post-op going on. He had surgery on his arm. I wanted to extend sympathy to the Spriggs family, the Buddy Spriggs family. He was a wonderful man, deputy sheriff before he retired, good friend, and he was one heck of a good city councilman with a level head. So I just wanted to extend the sympathy since Dan and Josh weren't here to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I just wanted to discuss a couple of items. First of all, I have something that I'd like to read to you that I'm hoping that you guys will put into effect. This would be for Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. Whereas the City of Lander law enforcement officials, security professionals, and public safety officers are brave and dedicated individuals who protect our citizens, families, and community. These men and women serve on the front lines of public safety, prepared to face uncertainty and danger for the sake of protecting their neighbors. Despite many challenges, they continue to perform their duties with dignity and honor. Lander remains a safe and welcoming community due to the hard work and devotion of its law enforcement officers and public safety officials. And whereas in memory of Sheridan, Wyoming Police Sergeant Nevada Krinke, who was recently murdered in the line of duty, this would be a proclamation that we'd like to move forward for the month of June, to make June Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. And let us express our heartfelt gratitude to those dedicated individuals who work tirelessly to maintain the safety and well-being of our communities. I have a copy for each one of you if you'd like to have a copy of that. The second thing I'd like to bring forward, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I can leave you this if you'd like. This is again, in reference to climate change. This is from the inside track of the New American. Fighting climate change by dumping chemicals in the ocean. Daily Caller reported on February 14 that scientists at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts are planning an experiment in which they will dump approximately 6,000 gallons of sodium hydrochloride, a common ingredient in soaps, cleansers, and chemical pipe cleaners, into the waters off Martha's Vineyard to ascertain whether artificial alkalinity enhancement of oceans can help address so-called climate change. I did not make copies of this, but I can leave this for you. This has already started. They have, let me see if I can find it. The scientists released 250 gallons of rhodamine WT, a fluorescent dye, into the same waters off Martha's Vineyard last August to see if the treated waters would reasonably be tracked. The next phase of the experiment will see the sodium hydroxide used along with more rhodium WT, with a larger test tentatively scheduled for the Gulf of Maine in 2025. This project is funded in part by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and in part by private sources. The Environmental Protection Agency still needs to sign off on it. The use of geoengineering as a means to address a climate crisis that doesn't truly exist seems to be a dangerous and unnecessary risk to the planet.
Okay, if you just leave that there, I'll grab it on the way out. We'll make sure everybody gets a copy. Sure, just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Any more communication from the floor?
Press the button before.
There you go.
All right. Oh, it's great to be here. My name is Sam Daner. I live over by the courthouse on Eugene Street. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
All right. Sam Dainert. Yep. No relation to Kelly, if anyone asks. I was the security coordinator at the recent drag show at the Arts Center last month. And I would like to share my observations from that night in consideration of past testimony that's been offered to this council by my fellow constituents, including a recent appeal for the city of Lander to institute a ban on the community-oriented affinity spaces, such as the ones curated by Wood River Pride. Over the course of last month's show, we were tasked with managing a pretty big incursion from counter-protesters, whose intention, we would learn, was to disrupt our community gathering and challenge the safety of everyone in attendance. Wind River Pride recognized their opposition, yet extended the dignity and courtesy of attendance to those who sought to be disruptive all the same. We did this because our compassion for the Wind River community and our faith in our fellow citizens tells us that exclusion is a losing game. And it was worth it. We know that for each intruder who lied, stole, and harassed our community over the course of that evening, there were far more who genuinely appreciated expressing togetherness with the Pride community and cherished the opportunity to share in the joy we felt together. Joy the Lander community has been lacking through wave after wave of insufficiency at best and outright malice at worst from this council and other local leaders. Indeed, the hardship our community endured that night was far surpassed by the celebration that came from our own perseverance and benevolence in the face of prejudice. Mayor Richardson, City Council, if you truly care about the safety and well-being of people in this community as I do, please take time to consider the consequences of your actions when opposition asserts its intent in this council chamber. So long as this council allows divisive rhetoric to take root and hate is given freedom to fester in our community, none of us are ever truly safe. Lander doesn't need a ban on drag shows. It needs greater control on the hate speech and discrimination you have allowed a seat at the table right here in this chamber and all along Main Street. This issue will not go away if ignored any more than Wind River Pride will go away if you refuse to acknowledge our community's needs. Defending tolerance requires us to not tolerate the intolerant. And until the city of Lander takes meaningful, lasting steps to make our community safer for the most disadvantaged among us, we are doomed to endure more trauma as this community continues to splinter. Thomas Paine may have once said that it's the madness of folly to expect mercy from those who have refused to do justice. But still, I pray that you'll find the courage to lead with compassion and protect this community's most vulnerable members. Our community awaits your forthcoming Pride Month proclamation with hopeful anticipation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any more communication from the floor? Yeah. Yep.
Hi, I'm Deborah East. I live at 44 North Third Street. I'm also here as a member of the community of 45 years, almost 46. And as a member of Wind River Pride. I was at the Pride event or the drag show as well from 6 until 8. And I was really pleased with how we welcomed the community. One of the reasons we wanted to welcome the community was because LGBTQIA and Two-Spirit people are from all ages. One of the designs of the drag show was to give people a chance to practice performing, to celebrate what they've been doing, and to have a fundraiser, and to have a chance for people of all ages to be together who are supporters or members of the LGBTQIA and Two-Spirit community. And we were together. The question that I have, and I'm glad to see Police Chief is here. Hello, I'm gonna get to meet him in person one day soon. One of the questions I have is, I don't know of a time that I've been here when a group was having a celebration and also had to check people for weapons. Just generally, we would do that as LGBTQ people because terrible things have happened when we gather. So that was done. And then we also had to ask people to comport themselves in a particular way because we were having a celebration. And we asked them not to put up posters of protest and not to take photographs or do videos without permission. And if people did any of those things, we asked them to stop and we asked them to leave. They knew that that was going to be a purpose. And people did leave. And then they were out on the sidewalk singing hymns in Latin as a form of protest. One of the questions I have outstanding for the city is, where do people need to stand when they're protesting a celebration event that is not any different from a birthday party or an anniversary? Where should they stand? People can have freedom of speech and assembly. And that's what we were aiming to have. That was our goal. And I was noticing the mission statement for the city of Lander, and I've written it down so I keep that on my phone for a while, because I think it's a good mission statement about trying to live together in a progressive way, recognizing traditions. But how do we embrace the future if we don't also advance our understanding of each other and give regard that is mutual, even if there is disagreement about how people live their lives? So if you have any questions and you got me here, I don't know if you ask questions during public comment. Is that a silent time for you? Well, let me offer you at any time. If it's a different situation and you want to ask me some questions, I would entertain them at your convenience.
Hey, thank you. Any more communication from the floor? And there is none, we're gonna move on. Mayor and council updates. Start with council, Councilwoman Stool.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple updates from the Pocoja Conservation District. The Garden Expo will be held this year on Saturday, April 20th at the high school. Always an incredible event with a lot of vendors, lots of learning opportunities. So hope to see many of you there. I know they have put in exceptional amounts of work in organizing that event. So January, April 20th, 9 a.m. to 3 at the high school. And there was also some conversation, Lance, probably for your department, about if we are allowing, and in fact incentivizing and hoping folks use the new parkland by mowing in some trails again this summer, if there was a chance we could put a pet waste station up nearby. I know we're not developing, that in any formal way yet, but they're concerned about without a station, you might not incentivize those dog owners to actually pick up that waste. If that's something you can consider. Thank you. Lovely. And Mayor, the Environment and Energy Task Force also met recently and has had some ongoing discussion about the research they're doing into a variety of grants and projects. Nothing that is actionable at this time, but they are thinking about coming back before us at a work session in maybe a month or two, around the 6-month mark, to report back on some of their progress and ideas, if that's something that we're interested in hearing from. Great. I'll report that back. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Cox.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple of updates. We had our community resource meeting on April 4th. It was well attended. For the most part, there were a couple of agencies that did not attend. That was unfortunate. That project will be moving forward, but will be a lot more community-based. And when I say that, it's important to understand that this isn't a singular agency or resource solution. It's going to take a lot of us coming together and coming up with some good solutions, as well as just some access to better resources in our community, where we can leverage funds instead of trying to get more funds. So that's going well. There was about 60 people at the community center, and again, that will move forward in a capacity where we would want the city to be involved with that effort as well. As far as school district 1 goes, as my liaison there, they will be meeting next Tuesday. I think it's the 3rd Tuesday of the month already. So I'll have more to report there, but the end of the school year, it's a chaotic time for them. A lot of, they'll have resignations and a lot of new hires, et cetera. And then the LEDA meeting will happen as well next week. My other question would be, or update would be, tonight they were holding the town hall for, I believe, Regine, you were probably up there. You're going to have an update on that. That'd be great. It was unfortunate that was the same night because I wanted to attend. A lot of Lander citizens are concerned and have questions, and I would just like to be more informed. So I'll look forward to that update. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councilman White.
Thank you, Mayor. Senior Center Board met this morning. Once again, they do an amazing job with meal delivery and providing meals at the Senior Center. Last month was again over 3,400 meals in total. They are going to have a prime rib dinner as a fundraiser on June 15th. So mark your calendars for that. And tomorrow at lunchtime, they're going to have 2 speakers. County Assessor Tara Berg is going to be speaking about some of the new property tax exemptions and have signups for those that want to be on a list for as more information and procedures become clear about that. And then also Julie Freese, the county clerk, will be there to talk about changes in voter registration, and also will have the opportunity to register to vote if folks need that. So a great lunch opportunity to lunch and learn. And that's it on my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Larson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I've got a chamber meeting tomorrow morning, LOTRA tomorrow night, and the Solid Waste Board on Monday. So maybe by the next meeting, I'll have some information for you. Chief, I was just wanting to get your thoughts on that proclamation for the police. I think it's always a good idea to tell our police how much we appreciate them, but I don't know, just what extent or where we need to go on that.
Oh, that's the first I've heard of it. I mean, the department knows you guys appreciate them on the council, everything you've done. To me, the selfish side is never a bad idea to always recognize us for the public.
Yeah.
But that's up to you guys. if you're asking me if the guys would be worried if the city didn't recognize them, they know you care about them and they know the folks in the community do too.
Thank you. Yep, they do a great job. I certainly don't have any issue, giving an extra pat on the back. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. As my chief would tell you guys, they're doing a great job. How's that? They are just truly on a little lighter side of things. Lance, just good to see the guys still out potholing. I don't know that we'll ever get done before the next set show up, but they're they're working hard on it. So as everybody else in the city, the guys are all out there working, and I see that tank project's starting up again, which is good. So I don't want to steal a lot of your thunder, but I know that we have to revisit the Lincoln Street project. We didn't get any bids, so Lance is probably talk about that a little bit. So what we're gonna have to do there. So, but like I said, good things are happening. We just got to find some contractors. So, all right, I'll go to staff reports now. Chief, you're up.
Just a couple things. We'll be doing our interviews Thursday for the police officer position. We ended up with four official that took the interview. We had a couple more applications, but they bowed out due to personal reasons, or one was cost of living and the fact of moving. But we do have four very qualified lateral applicants that we'll interview Thursday. The other things, I don't know if I told the council, but we did promote Jesse Maddox from officer to detective. I'm not sure if I let you guys know in the last meeting. He'll be starting that position next Monday. So I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions?
Mayor,
Councilmember Sewell?
Chief, how many folks cited cost of living as an issue for them in considering the interview?
There was one that pulled out because of that.
Still, one is too many, but that's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, Lance?
Yes, Mayor and Council, just a few things, a lot of them around construction. So yes, tank and pump station job is moving forward. You'll see the tank builders actually show up first part of May. So we'll start seeing things put vertically up there, and it'll change quickly once that happens. Our structures are coming in the next few weeks, so I don't know if those will go in as far as the pump station and the new building at the tank site, but those will be big changes as well. So hopefully we can see that get complete this year. And unfortunately, as the mayor mentioned, Lincoln Street did not go. We were able to get feedback from different contractors. This is a big job for the area, as far as being able to manage and operate and do a lot of work in a short duration of time. I think it kind of made people a little scared to work through a commercial zone and give us prices on what we were asking for. So our recommendation is going to be to move this to a 2-year job the rest of this season, put it out for bid and let work happen, and then go into temporary pavement before the weather hits so that we can manage and operate during the cold times, and then let them come back next year and finish the job all the way through October. It's not what I wanted to do because we were hoping to do Fifth Street next year. I think we should move Fifth Street a year is what we're going to do, and we'll probably pick up Buena Vista and Baldwin Creek instead. The reason not to do Fifth Street is because it's going to intersect with Lincoln Street. And if we do those two big projects at the same time, nobody's going to be able to get around town. So unfortunately, the people who thought they were getting Fifth Street next year, that's going to have to hit a pause button, and we'll put it off a year, let Lincoln finish and rearrange some of those things. Sharia and I have talked. That's not going to be an issue with our funding. It's just going to be an issue with getting information to the public so that they understand we have to move it, why we're moving it, and still trying to stay on task that we're getting a lot of these projects done by 2028 so we can do more projects after 2028. If every job we do turns into 2 years, that's not really where we want to be. So hopefully we can get some more contractors interested and trained. We've reached out to drum up business out of Rock Springs and maybe Casper and some other areas as well if we're not going to get local bidders, and just let people know that what this project is. And we do not want to lose this ARPA money, because if we do not have it obligated by October and spent by next year, that defaults back. So this is the money that we receive for ARPA funds. So just what's that? 26. Yeah, end of 26 or start of
This year.
yeah.
Okay, Shari said spent by 26 is what the reality is on that project. So we still are going to try to stay on task. We're taking feedback, comments, we'll repurpose, rebid, and see if we can get interest in that project is the plan. Another doom and gloom, we did not get our wells out in time to get the DEQ. Well, the DEQ permit did not come through. I think I updated you guys that we really had an agency issue between water development and DEQ on the way they test wells, and those didn't match up, and we got stuck in the crossfire. So we tried to get a variance. We were finally getting a variance, but we've missed the last water development meeting to request additional funds. The next one's in August. So we're going to bid that job, go back in August, ask for the additional contingency funds they said are still available. But I think that's now going to be a 2025 job rather than a 2024 job. So you won't see us finishing the well project this year either. So things are still in the hopper. It's just beyond our control as why things are moving around and trying to adjust, adapt, and hopefully we can still see projects moving forward as we're wanting to spend our money. We've secured the funding. It's just now we need somebody to come in and give us prices and build it. And I'm entertain any questions you have.
Mayor,
Councilmember Sewell?
thank you. Thanks, Lance. Frustrating for you and your crews, I imagine as well. With having Lincoln Street being two-year job now, so partial this year, partial next year. I mean, it's hard to speculate on what that would mean for costs, but I'm guessing that's going to increase costs to be able to put in temporary and then rip back up.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I guess depending on what your bidders think is good for their business and what they're willing to give you as far as a bid. Yes, I do think there's going to be sacrificial pavement now in that bid. And so when you're putting in sacrificial pavement versus just doing it once, there's going to be a cost associated with that extra work. But if you have the ability to operate and manage it and doing it at your own pace, there might be a benefit for that. I'm always one that thinks that if you got it done quicker, you know, you're off to the next project and you're making more money, but that's, you know, what we've had as a request is more time on this project from some of our big local contractors. So, okay, we'll give you more time. What that means for us is potentially more engineering cost, right? If we're going slower, we had anticipated having somebody out there to observe the project and help the contractor. We call them a project representative that's on site. We're going to have somebody who's willing to do that at a slower pace, and that costs us more per hour when we pay for that service. So don't love doing it if we can get it done quicker, but it's ARPA funds. So hopefully we still stay somewhere close to what we're anticipating for budget on that project.
Thank you. It's helpful to have that elaboration. It's not a world that I've been trained in to think like an engineer, think like a bidder on this project. So it's helpful. I learn a lot when you explain that. I had another point, if I may, Mayor. I was speaking with a parent of a learner driver who is nervous and was questioning about when we're going to stripe the main streets that enter onto, well, I'm sorry, so like the main avenues that come onto Main Street. So like Second Street, right? We haven't striped the 2 lanes, and she's finding difficulties with her 15-year-old learning where those lanes are. So I had a question about striping.
As soon as we get the dirt off of it, we can put down some paint.
Great.
But,
Great. I'll tell her
we
ASAP.
always try to get that in. The goal is before the 4th of July, so everything looks new and then nice paint around Main Street. But I'll talk to Mark to try to get that sooner than later, especially with Second Street was one that we wanted to add some striping to. So we'll
Yeah,
try to
no
get
reason to
that.
expedite for 2 nervous individuals, but it was I'll report back.
And we just do that close to the intersection now, you know, kind of for a quarter, half a block is all we're carrying out so that cars queue in the right spots, but still trying to give enough turning radius for the big semis and that to make their turns.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Mayor.
I just have a question of clarification.
Go ahead.
So, just because my mind was a little distracted with the Lincoln Street project, we are going to start this year, correct?
Correct. We're going to offer the contractor, a lot of the contractors are finishing up work midsummer and think that they might have availability after the 4th of July and late July. So that could be late summer, early fall work for them. And then next summer finishing up.
Okay.
And I think that's utilities we're talking about if I were to guess. So
Okay.
getting a lot of your underground work done, getting your water, getting your sewer, being able to do that. And then next year coming back and talking about concrete, asphalt, and the other things that need to be done.
Do we anticipate it will be the same contractor?
Yeah, if they get the bid, they'll have the job.
They'll start and do all of it?
Yeah,
My question, because, this has been something that's been on people's radar to getting done, and as we all know, Lincoln Street is bad. Pothole wise especially, but just all the way around. Can we get on top of the communication on this, like right now, about what's gonna happen, or are we going to delay that communication pending an actual bid?
yeah, I think that if we speculate and then it doesn't happen, then we just have to explain that. So if you want us to look at telling people we're gonna repackage, we're gonna rebid this and move it to a 2-year job, I think I'm fine getting
Yeah.
that message out. But we're still hoping to receive bidders, so it's a
Gotcha.
hopeful message that could still not be great at some point if people aren't gonna give us a bid here for whatever
Mhm.
reason.
Sure, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anybody else? And just to let you know, Julia, we do have 2 new street sweepers out for bid, so. But, anyway, okay, Regine.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Cox, were you talking about the Squaw Baldwin strategic plan meeting that the county is putting on tonight?
I am talking about that.
Okay, so Anne is there for me tonight. She sent me a picture of a packed house in a very hot, stuffy room. So it's just good to know that the word has gotten out so much that we're probably gonna have to move that into the larger rooms. Anyway, they have a packed house tonight. There is a Tweed Lane, North Second, and North Fork Road next Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you guys can come to those, they start at 6 PM on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Excuse me, there's gonna be an actual, whole lead up or an explanation by the county on what's gonna happen there. Is that correct?
The stage that they're at on all 3 of those is that the engineer has come forward with the initial alternatives. So the engineer will present some initial alternatives and let the public comment on that before they narrow it down for final alternatives that will go in a report. All 3 of those reports are due in June of this year.
Good, thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
I have a quick question on that.
Go
if you
ahead,
Don't mind.
Councilwoman
Thanks,
Cox.
Mayor. Just a clarification. So the Baldwin Squaw Creek proposed Fremont County proposed changes do not include the city at all. Is that correct?
That is correct. I tell everybody though, as a city, we would be irresponsible to not be following up on what they're doing because at the city limit line, if you have a certain traffic pattern and then at the county line, it changes to something else, that's not good for traffic flow. So that is why I sit on those steering committees. We haven't asked for nor committed any funding for the portion inside the city limits. And we haven't applied for any grant funding for that. But we're just trying to keep abreast of that so that we can have continuous modes of traffic around those loops.
So it will impact the city in some capacity.
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Mayor,
Councilman Stoll?
I have a follow-up on that if I may, Regine. So if we move up and this is a possible, I heard Lance, we might move up Baldwin Creek. If we bump Fifth Street back to 2026, we might really bring Baldwin up to 2025. Are we then gonna be out of sync? Imagine they're not gonna be, if they're planning now, they have the engineering, right? So are we gonna be out of sync what we do on our end of Baldwin and then they make a plan? How do we sync up, I guess, is the question.
Well, and that's another reason I'm on the steering committee because I'm sharing the Baldwin Creek preliminary designs with the county. So,
So you are.
right.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, move on, Shari.
I have 2 more things.
Oh,
What?
I thought you were done. You
So-
put your head down.
Just answering the question.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to let the council know that I did share the park rules for North Park and on all of the new resolution that we made with the superintendent of schools, the CFO of schools, and the school board. And they replied back that they would not request any changes to those posted rules. Our lease will be coming due here in the end of June. They also indicated that they would not put anything additional in the lease at this time while we're negotiating that. So it looks like the resolution that we adopted can stand as stated.
What else? Got one more.
I got one more. Table Mountain Living Community is kind of the opposite problem that Lance has. We have the bids, we have the final construction number. We're waiting at probably another month to secure the final financing package. So it wasn't delayed because there were no bids. It was delayed because there was no funding. So that should be going forward later this fall also. We've requested a grant extension for the Wyoming Business Council grant that takes the water and sewer past the hospital to the Table Mountain Living Community site, because that's another $1 million infrastructure loan that we couldn't get done until this finance package is done. So things are moving forward. We have bids. We just are waiting for the final signatures on the finance package.
Good. Any other
Question on that,
questions?
I do. Did we secure an operator?
No, and we have not tried yet, very diligently. So as soon as we get in the construction phase, we're currently trying to form a committee, we being the housing authority, trying to form a committee to individually solicit and go around and find an operator.
I understand that timeline. I am very concerned that we won't be able to find one and what that could look like for the overall project. I mean, we can build it. It's not like, what's Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. I don't know if that's the case. They got to be able to make money, right? So
Right.
My concern would be if they don't have input or don't know what that looks like economically for an operator. I mean, does that concern?
Yeah,
the housing
and I
authority?
do hear those concerns, and the Housing Authority Board knows of all those concerns. We have tried as a board one operating method, and that is to find a contractor that will run all of the operations. There are about 3 other models out there by which you can operate a center like this. So we're following down that path, but the one that we had an operator and they failed was just an RFP method, but there are 3 other methods on the way to operate and find an operator for a facility. So if you want, I'll talk to you about that later. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. Sorry.
We did get the specifications back with approval from the SRF for the street sweepers. So we will be putting those out to bid. Hopefully we'll be purchasing those before the end of this fiscal year. You'll notice in your bills and claims, we did pay, I had asked for your permission prior to, I think it was last budget year, to pay off the Wyoming Business Council loan that we have for the chamber building. We did pay that off in these bills and claims because we had enough money in that segregated building funds account. I would like to take that payment then in the future then and just hole that into a new building repairs line or balance sheet items so that we can start saving for buildings, other directions for buildings. The other thing that was paid off this last month was our last payment for the community center. So we have 0 debt on the community center. That was just a WAM Energy grant. We are having some heating issues. You'll probably hear from people that attended the Dancing with the Stars. We've had some heating issues. I think we're going to be looking at that. We do have a Wyoming Energy grant for $25,000 already. We may end up repurposing that one and looking at doing some changes at the community center, but it's paid off.
Just to start putting money back in. Okay, Adam,
I don't have anything tonight unless somebody has questions for me.
questions for Adam? Okay, Michelle?
Similar to Adam, I have nothing unless someone has some questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is A, approval of March 12th, 2024 regular city council meeting minutes. B, approve March 26th, 2024 city council work session minutes and approval of bills and claims. Can I get a motion in a second?
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
Motion by Councilman Cox, second by Councilman White. Open for discussion.
Shari answered my big question.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna call for the question. Councilman Larson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, moving on, unfinished business, action items. Second reading of ordinance 2024-6, fixing and determining the mill levy is necessary. And this is just housekeeping. We've done it every year. We do it every year so we can get a little bit of that money back from property tax, so. And it's not raising because all we can ask for is 8 mills is all, so we're at the max. So. All right, and a motion in a second.
Mayor, I move approval of the second reading of ordinance 2024-6, fixing and determining the mill levy necessary to be levied to raise the money by general tax to meet current expenses of the city of Lander for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024. A hard one to summarize.
It
Second.
is. I got a motion, Councilwoman Sewell, second by Councilwoman Cox. Any questions, discussions? Councilwoman Sewell?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. On item B, approve third reading of ordinance 2023 for revised vacating a partial alley in the J. Isa addition, City of Lander, Fremont County, Wyoming, adjacent to 473 South 4th Street to include subsequential records in Fremont County, Wyoming, number 780 on April 30th, 1886, plat cabinet 4, page 133, information.
So moved.
Okay.
Gonna get right to cut to
I
the
got a
case.
Second.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilwoman White, second by Councilman Larson, to approve, ordinance 2023-4. Questions, discussion? Call for the question, Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, item C. Approval, third reading of ordinance 2024, amending Title 12, Section 12-2-7, municipal judge. And update section 12-1-3 and 12-3-3 as previous amended.
Move to approve.
Okay, got a motion? and
I'll
a
second.
A motion second, discussion? Okay, so call for the question, Councilman Stubble.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item D, approval third reading of ordinance 2024-5, amending Title II, sales of licensing and use of alcohol, malt beverage. We've discussed this before. You need more discussion on it? Okay, can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
A motion, can I get a second?
Second.
A motion by Councilman Cox and by Councilman Stubble to approve ordinance 2024-5. And more discussion? Over the question, Councilman Stubble?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, new business, non-action item. Request for a council liaison for the LIFT committee. So who has lots of time?
Mayor, I did have some discussions with some lift committee members and just very interested. I don't have a lot of I don't have an agenda as it relates to the or a perceived agenda as it relates to this. And I think that it's important to, it wouldn't be a voting member, but a steering member, if you will, as we move forward. So I would be very interested. I do have time. I've recently taken a new job, which will open up some daytime hours as well. So just as it relates to, I'm already on the LIDA, the transfer over.
Right at the LIFT.
Yeah. And I don't have a ton of duties outside of which
gives
is
you a little more
sort
time
of
to do
weird.
it.
What's that?
That gives you a little time to do it.
That's right, that's right.
So, yeah. Anybody else? Councilwoman White?
Thank you, Mayor. Likewise, I've been working with the LIFT committee since their inception about organizing and developing systems and continue to have conversations with them and would be interested in serving in that position.
That too. You interested too?
No, Mayor, but I was curious if you've heard, we have two councilmen who are not present. Have you heard any interest from either of them?
I
Oh.
haven't heard anything from them. Not yet. They would want it.
So maybe hearing from them would be important.
I mean, yes, it's been on the agenda, but
Yeah.
from what we heard, it sounds like there's some maybe business in their lives right now, so I wouldn't expect an email or something to you, Mayor,
Yeah.
but I was curious if there had been. I mean, is there a
Yeah.
rush on this appointment? When does Lyft next meet?
May 1st is the.
Yeah, this came from originally suggested by Marilyn Fisher, since Lita is no longer involved, but they'd love to have the direct connection to council.
We can
that.
wait till work session. Next Thursday.
Because it's not a vote, is that correct?
Yeah.
No, it's just an appointment.
Then Mayor,
Yeah.
I propose we wait, till we have a full, or give a chance of a full council to consider
Okay.
that.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Sounds good. All right, moving on to new business. A is already done. We'll move to B, approval of resolution 1328. Exempting block through Fourth and Main Street from open container for city ordinance det 2-2-12 for 24 International Climbers Fest Art Festival Crawl. I get a motion second.
So moved?
Second.
That motion by Councilman White, second by Councilman Larson. To approve resolution 1328. Questions?
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think this is clearly an event that has been going on for so many years. I forget the anniversary we had last year, but it's a major economic development driver for town. But I feel remiss, Chief, if we don't ask with open container waivers, if we've had any issues in the previous year, any enforcement issues, anything you would flag for us to know.
No, there was no issues with this group at all.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just,
ahead.
Mayor, it will reflect in how I vote on this. I'm just opposed to what we're standing for. And I get it, I understand. But it's not necessary, in my opinion, to be able to drink up and down Main Street for an event. So.
Anybody else? None? I got a motion and a second, didn't I? Okay, I'm making sure. Call for the question, Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item C. Resolution 1329, amending resolution 1203, authorizing the housing authority to proceed with Table Mountain Living Center Housing Project. Get a motion second. If any discussion, we'll have it.
So moved?
Second,
Second.
motion by Councilman White, second by Councilwoman Stubble, excuse me. Questions? Comments?
I'm just concerned about not having an operator in this. This is a very expensive project, which I value wholeheartedly. But I am really concerned what it means to continue on down this trek without an operator. I don't know. I've done just a little bit of looking into, I will not call it research because that's not what it is. But I wish that we had an operator on board for this large of a project. So reluctantly, my vote will express that.
All right, now I'm gonna call for the question. Councilman Stubble.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Item D. Approval of authorizing mayor to sign a license and indemnification agreement for installation and maintenance of benches at the Fremont County Museum. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved?
Get a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Cox, second by Councilwoman Stubble. Questions? None? Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I'm gonna call for the question, Councilwoman Stubble.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, item E. Approved minor subdivision. S 24.01 Township of Lander Block 35, partial replat. We can have a little discussion, Regina, you got your mic on.
Thank you, Mayor. This has been through the planning commission. This is oversized lot across the street north from Gannett Peak School. The oversized lot, they're hoping to turn that into two smaller lots to increase housing opportunity here in Lander. The planning commission has done their review and they recommend approval of this plat.
Okay. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
A motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Cox. To approve minor subdivision S 24.01. More questions? Call for the question.
One
You got
question,
one
Mayor.
question? Okay, go ahead.
So, on the city staff letter, there's the city staff recommends approval if the conditions are set forth above are met about showing the water and sewer tap. Is that something that's been done sufficiently?
Yes, thank you. That is something the client is willing to do and it will be appearing on the final plat, the final, my
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Call for a question. Councilwoman Stewart.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on to F. Approve county subdivision plat CS 24.02 Sunflower subdivision. Regine?
Thank you, Mayor. The planning commission, as you know, has the authority to review all plats within 1 mile of the city limits. We do that to make sure they're consistent with our master plans. We have a transportation master plan that you guys adopted in 2020, and we have the new water master plan. In this case, there is a potential future water line down Sunflower Road, or Sunflower Street, I guess it's called. So we asked the owner if they would put a 10-foot easement on the south side of their lot. They were amenable to that. And so the county recommends, or the planning commission recommends approval of this plat. And then it will go to the county plat process for final approval.
Okay. I get a motion in a second.
Move to approve.
Get a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Cox. To approve of the county subdivision plat CS 24.02. Any more questions, concerns? All for the question. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, on item G, approval of a job description for existing part-time police department records clerk position. With the amendment. With the resolution we added to it. You have the resolution in front of you.
Yep.
So we, Mayor, am I correct that we have two items here? We're approving the job description one, and second, we're passing the
Resolution.
resolutions at 2:30.
Ties in with it, yes.
And that's correct. And the job description becomes Exhibit A to the resolution.
Get a motion in a second.
Move to approve the job description for existing part-time police department records clerk and resolution 1330.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Cox, second by Councilman Stubble. Any other questions, discussion? Stopping.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Chief, remind us, I believe you presented at our last work session that this is not a new position. It's just been an unfilled position for several years. How long has that been?
It's been 2021. Chris Johnson worked in this position until I believe it was October of 21 before he came to work for the city. So it's been in the budget. Just haven't used the money.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, call for the question. Councilman Stubble.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Item H is accept resignation of Tracy Rue from the Housing Authority Board.
So moved.
I get a second,
Second.
a motion and a second. To accept resignation from Tracy Rue. We'll call for the question.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I think just a quick comment of gratitude, I think, for anybody serving on a board. So we're grateful for Mr. Rue's service on this entity, and as I understand it, he's leaving town, and that's
Right.
the reason for his resignation.
Yep. Anybody else? Nope. Call for the question. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, move to item I, authorize the mayor to sign the ARPA grant agreement between the state of Wyoming's Office, State Land and Investment Boards for the city of Lander. I get a motion second.
So moved.
I get a second.
Second.
A motion by Councilwoman White. Councilwoman Cox, second by Councilwoman Stubble. Discussion? Any discussion needs on that? And there is none, call for the question. Councilman Larson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, right now we need a motion to move into executive session.
Move to adjourn into executive session.
Can I get a second?
Second.
A motion by Councilman White, second by Councilman Larson to move into executive session. Call for the question. Councilman
Yes.
Stubble?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the chief told me there was no problems at all. Yeah, I'll pass them around, get them up to them. Thank you, better get back. Huh? Thank you. Sure. Yeah. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Without confrontation, then they shouldn't come on the sidewalk and protest. With a bullhorn yelling profanities.
I read it today.
I apologize. I left a voicemail. I think yeah. Yeah. Just looking to have a conversation with someone about good product, and close that. That's last year's question. We were wondering about finding some way to preserve that area across further. And specifically, dates. Opposition. You're cognizant of what that, those kind of thoughts. Lack of better word. Having an expression space where you know it's going to draw others. Is there a precedent for various avenues, either surveil or development, either because of direct sabotage, immigration, it starts. That's not our
not, closing argument. People should be able to celebrate without competition. No, I said that.
Oh, yes. Just standing down there.
Linda Reed there, isn't it?
Not a huge fan.
Be observing so I can tell.
I just think it's.
Trying to debate. We can't do anything about it.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn executive session.
Second.
Motion in a second. Come out of executive session. Call for the question, Councilman Larson.
Yes.
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 Yeah, Yes.
And Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
for the record, there was no action taken during the executive session. There was just discussion and there's no need for any actions to be taken after the executive session.
Okay, I wasn't planning on doing any action stuff.
Thank you. Sir.
So that's good, though. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and second. Call for the question, Councilman Stool?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, maybe say that coming.